Yeah. Hey, what are you drinking today?
I am having a tequila Perrier.
I am having a beerless beer. And I got excited because I grabbed it in, honor of you and what you do every week. And then this week you don't do it.
I am not in for sponsors, but if Hop Water wanted to sponsor us, just, out of how hard it is to find, I would take this sponsorship.
Yeah. And to add to that, I wouldn't even want monetary return. Just, a 4-pack of Hop Water once a month, I'd be happy with.
Just send me.
I'll even pay for shipping.
4-pack a day would be great.
Okay, that's a lot.
Okay, so I have a Hop Water question.
That's like the Zoom lady.
I'm gonna start this podcast with a Hop Water related question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever take it in the car?
Are we still talking about Hop Water?
Yeah. Would you take it in the car?
I'm brown, so no.
So the other day I was drinking one and I had to leave, and I thought, I know this isn't alcoholic, but it's gonna be a bad argument. It's just gonna be me going like, no, officer, listen, there's no alcohol. It's fine.
You're fine.
Yeah, I did not take it in the car.
No, you're completely okay. Trust me. They would just look at you and they would just expect nothing less.
Is this because I'm white?
Very much.
Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's totally true. So did you see the Eternals teaser trailer?
I did. I don't understand any of it other than I think what I'm getting from it is that they're like the group of superheroes that created the whole world and everything that is, and they exist throughout time, always living in the shadows, but now they're not.
I don't think they've created everything, but they were made by the Celestials. So do you remember the worst dad in the world from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
He was a Celestial, right?
Okay.
Their race created the Eternals,
mm-hmm.
and that's going to be who this group is.
So Marvel managed to find the only 12 remaining actors that have never been in a Marvel movie and put them in this movie.
I mean, Kit Harington's back.
Yeah. Well, Jon Snow doesn't die. So.
Right. It's impossible to kill Jon Snow. It's great. Spoilers. And Camille Nanjiani looks ridiculous. That guy is ripped.
Yeah. And Angelina Jolie is Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's 55, right? Which Phil Mickelson proved is fine.
Yeah, J-Lo proves it's fine every day.
Selma Hayek proves it's fine every day.
They all prove it's fine.
I know, it's amazing.
Really, what's being proven is that if you have money, age is irrelevant.
Correct.
Yes.
That is how that works.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks good. I had the thought of that movie comes out in November. Do you anticipate that you'll go to a movie theater by November?
First of all, let me back up for a second and say I am incredibly surprised that one, you said a movie looks good, and two, you're actually pondering going to see a movie. I'm not saying in November, but in general. You've seen 4 movies in the past 7 years, and they've all been Star Wars movies.
Okay, I'm going to defend my honor for a minute.
Go ahead.
Because I hear you, and I don't know anything about the Eternals. I wasn't a Jack Kirby guy. So I really, really, really was impressed by the Marvel movies. I went into...
They're very well done.
I got it wrong. I was pretty insulting about them. I made a lot of references about kids' book movies. And when the pandemic started and we went into lockdown, I decided to watch them all. I've actually watched them all twice now. And while, yes, at the end of the day, they're just like people punching each other, it is much different than Mortal Kombat. And I am definitely in for them. And I love them. I think Feige is a genius.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the Loki series to come out. It's gonna be fantastic.
So did you watch them in chronological theatrical release order or chronological timeline order, or both?
No, I did release order. So okay. I watched them all, and then Binge Mode, my favorite podcast, did the Marvels rewatch, and I watched them all again and did the podcast with them.
Gotcha.
So that was release order. I know that there's the whole watch
chronological
Captain America
order.
first thing. I'm not
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, it's like
Or I guess
like
Captain
Captain
Marvel.
Marvel is like the second movie that you would watch. Yeah.
Right. Which, by the way, Captain Marvel would probably be more warmly regarded if it came out when it did. In that case,
Yeah.
I think it's highly criticized because one, men on the internet are assholes, and two, because it's in between Endgame and Infinity War. I feel like that really, you're just like, okay, yeah, come on, let's go. It's like the Ant-Man problem.
Yeah, well, and it also represents the next chapter in the Marvel comic universe, and so I think there's a lot of you like viewer hesitation. Like the first, I don't know how many movies are there, 12 roughly, something like that. There's been a
No,
lot,
there's
right?
like 23.
Oh, well, okay. First,
It's an
yeah,
ungodly amount of movies.
yeah. So the first set of movies up until Endgame were, to your point, fantastic. Some were better than others, but they were all they were good. I mean, they were well done. And it's like, how do you top that after Endgame? Right. And some of like, we're clearly going to get into like kind of the lesser known superheroes for the second half, like the Eternals, for example. You're not gonna, Spider-Man will be there, but you're not really gonna have any more Captain America. You'll have the new Captain America and Winter Soldier, but that's a TV show, so who knows how that'll spin off. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think with Captain Marvel, part of it, to your point, was that it came out probably at a bad time.
Yeah.
But also it does represent this new beginning, and I don't know. It's a lot of uncertainty. Like Endgame was amazing.
Yeah.
How do you top that?
I thought phase 3 was excellent all around.
Yeah.
I don't agree that phase 1 and 2 were great. I think all the sequels were basically terrible. Thor: The Dark World is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Ragnarok is amazing.
Oh, totally. That's phase 3, right? Ragnarok is fantastic. But
Civil War was good.
Yeah, that's not the sequel.
Yeah. Civil War was the second Avengers.
No, Winter Soldier is the second one. Captain America, notwithstanding, I'll give you Captain America is good, but like Iron Man 2, no, Iron Man 2 is Whiplash, right?
No, Age of Ultron.
No, you're way off base.
Oh, is that
Iron Man 2 is Whiplash. Iron Man 3 is the terrible movie.
Which one was it where Hulk at the end like grabs Loki and just goes to town with him?
Oh, that's the original Avengers. That's fantastic.
So good.
That's a great moment. That's a tiny god.
That was maybe one of my favorite scenes in all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I really liked him. I was really surprised, but I guess it makes sense, right? I love Star Wars. I love kids movies, apparently, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, the Eternals look good. It was definitely fun to see a movie trailer again and actually think about. I'm not going to go to a movie theater, like I know that,
right?
But to think about the possibility of doing that. The weird part is Black Widow going to come out before that or after that? Because it's about 2 years late right now.
Well, they're saying July now. Right?
Are they?
Yeah, I think it's July, and it's Disney and theaters at the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
Crazy. So when do you go back though? You're a movie theater junkie. So when do you go back to a theater now that you're vaccinated?
I don't know, and this is gonna sound really weird because I love watching movies, right? But the thing about going to a movie theater for me was always the popcorn. Like I just love movie theater popcorn. I just do. I have an obsession with it. I know it's weird.
That's weird.
I know it's totally weird. And so over the past year and a half, obviously no movie theater, so no movie theater popcorn, but also that's not keto friendly. So I don't know. I still have this desire to not be near any human being that I don't personally know and trust. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back to a movie theater.
Okay. Popcorn is not, it's like fine.
I know. Here's the thing with me. Like I don't like popcorn generally unless it's from a movie theater with extra butter.
Right. I'm going to argue the opposite. Popcorn is good. It's the movie theater kind that's gross. That's like nothing is that yellow. That's not real. That's not the color of any actual product.
I want like that butter that comes in the machine that looks like clarified butter, but it's clearly not clarified butter. Like that's what I like.
That's not real food. You right. shouldn't eat that. I don't think that's healthy for you.
In like 16 months.
Oh God.
I know. My arteries probably thank me for it.
They're like
my
they're
wallet
praying
definitely
that they're the
thanks me
only
for
thing
it.
on earth that's praying that COVID stays around is your arteries.
Do you think that popcorn is the most highly marked up product that we can purchase in this country right now, from a percentage perspective?
Wait, what? Say it again. You
Is
broke
there
up. Say it one
any
more time.
is there any other product that has a higher markup percentage that you can buy than popcorn? Because there's no way,
Glitter.
but there's no way a
They're
large
charging strippers
popcorn.
like crazy for that stuff.
Oh, but yeah. But really, a large popcorn costs like $15, and you know it costs like 15 cents. The
Yeah,
bucket
movie
costs
theater. Okay,
the bucket
th-
costs more than the popcorn.
there is one bigger market than movie theater food, which is theme park food.
Oh yeah,
Those churros at Disneyland cost $8, and
yeah.
that is fried bread.
Although theme park food is right on par with sporting event beer.
Sure.
Yeah, I could buy a keg for the amount that it costs me to get 4 beers at a basketball game.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a little egregious. Actually, you know what's worse is when we the last time we went to the Suns game, there's a bar outside that sells like tequila sodas, right?
Yeah.
It's like $25 for like a shot of tequila. And it's not even good. Like they're getting you like Swearza for $25, which is fantastic.
Meanwhile, you can buy like a whole bottle of like Cabo Wabo for $25.
Gotta appreciate markups. Speaking of which, man, what do you think about this NBA playoffs? You loving it?
I am. I was hoping we'd transition to this. Man, I gotta tell you, I did not think, and we're recording this on Monday, the first Monday of the playoff season. So, I did not think the Suns had a chance to beat the Lakers, and I am so happy that they won. And look, I like LeBron. We've talked about this a lot. I know you're a LeBron fan too, even though you're not a Lakers fan, and I'm not a Lakers fan.
No, I hate the Lakers. They're actually my least favorite team. I just love LeBron enough to root for them.
Suns, man, if they keep playing that style of basketball against the Lakers, like if they keep playing that style of basketball, I don't think anybody in the West is going to beat them. Honestly, like they were fantastic. Booker was amazing. Ayton played fantastic. Chris Paul is the heart of that team. I mean, like it's amazing how much of a difference one player can make to an entire organization. And man, it was just fun to watch him. And it didn't win. It wasn't a close game. I mean, it wasn't a blowout, but it wasn't a close game.
No, I think the Lakers end up fine. I guess we'll find out by the time this podcast comes out. But they still are the most talented team, so it won't surprise me if they come back and win 4 in a row. And as a guy that rooted for Chris Paul for Houston, I told all my Suns, fan friends, like, you're going to love him. You hated him before he got to you, but he makes your team better. Yep. The problem is, just like always, he's hurt. He looked terrible. He couldn't dribble his right hand anymore. He hit that weird fadeaway.
And that fall kind of hurt him, but you know what? Just having him on the floor makes a difference.
I don't think he's going to be on the floor. I have a feeling he's hurt for real. We're going to find out. It's going to be interesting.
We'll find out. But it's been an exciting playoff so far. I mean, the Jazz lost their first game. The Knicks, man, that was. I know it's like a 4 and a 5 seed between the Knicks and the Hawks, so it's not like a huge upset either way. But that was an exciting game to watch. Milwaukee just blew out Miami tonight, so they're up 2-0. That'll be exciting to watch. And I think they got swept last year by Miami in the playoffs, so a little bit of redemption there. I don't know what the score of the Denver game is right now, but that's been a pretty fun game. I think Denver was up at halftime, but
they're up by 16. They're gonna win game 2.
Yeah, I mean it's been a fun playoff to watch, and I think very similar to last year. Like you didn't really. I mean, it was exciting last year, and it's been exciting this year. I think we talked a little bit about it. I don't remember if we talked on the pod or if it was on offline, but I really like this play-in tournament kind of thing. I get that if you're the 7 seed, like I get the things, right? So like if you're a 7 seed and let's say you're 5 games up on the 8 seed going into the playoffs, right? But now you got to play to make the playoffs, and let's just say you lose 2 games in a row and now you're not even in the playoffs. That sucks.
Oh, Golden State. That's what happened, right?
That sucks, but it just makes it exciting. I mean, every other sport does it. Like baseball has a play-in game. The NCAA men's tournament has a play-in game. The NFL with wildcard teams have technically play-in games. So maybe they can refine it. Maybe 7 is safe, and next year they do 8, 9, and they do a play-in to see. Who knows? I don't know, but it's fun.
Yeah, it was good. I don't. I, I thought they were terrible, except for the Golden State Lakers game. That was a great game. The other ones were all blowouts, right? So I don't know if I want it, but I think what I want is a reduced NBA season because, and it's never going to happen. The owners aren't going to give up the money. But when you play a 70 game season or 65 game season, there's just going to be, it's like football. There's going to be more variability in records. When you play a longer season,
Yeah.
more people are going to regress to the mean, right? You're going to end up with baseball where everyone's one game apart. So I liked the shorter season. I hope that continues. I know it's unlikely, but man, that was really fun to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fun kind of turnaround. Not for my team. We are the worst team in all of basketball.
We're a pretty bad team.
And not for your awful team. And by the way, what's up with your boy Drummond? Was he just that bad in Detroit? It just looked good because your players were that bad?
No, but he looked good in the beginning of the Suns game. He was making a couple shots, playing good defense. He's a big body.
He's awful.
Hey,
he's really awful.
It's easy to criticize him when he's, not playing well. But in all fairness, he also was like a varsity player in a, team of 8th graders. So
yeah, I guess you don't have any other players that played for you. I mean, Blake Griffin looks good. Actually, all your Detroit players are off at other teams. Derrick Rose is good.
This is not just specific to basketball, by the way, right? It's just a Detroit thing. When you leave Detroit, it's almost like you've been let out of jail. So your first season somewhere else, you're a stud. I expect Matthew Stafford to pass for 7,000 yards next season.
Oh yeah, he'll be the MVP.
Have like 39 touchdowns and 1 interception, and maybe even run for like 4 touchdowns. Who knows? Like, it's just what happens when you leave Detroit.
Did it happen for you?
Like,
was that your MVP season? The first year out of Detroit? Is that when it was great?
That's when we met.
So Stafford has the 7th best odds of anyone to win MVP. The whole world knows your Detroit plan. The last one out, lead lights off.
Yeah.
Oh man, poor Detroit. I'm so sad.
Poor Detroit.
So hockey playoffs are going on too, and then Phil Mickelson wins a major.
What's going on?
Hockey. Apparently, it's still sport.
It should be a sport. I genuinely think hockey playoffs are the best playoffs of any playoffs. But
they are. Actually, it's an incredible spectator sport. It's like soccer.
Nobody
really good.
Just unfortunately watches hockey because nobody shows hockey games.
I want to know how it felt to have someone your age win a golf major. Did that inspire you? I'll drink my drink.
Nothing else to do. That's all I could come up with. No, you know what? I'm glad Lefty won. It was cool. It actually surprised me to hear that, that stat about nobody. He's the oldest player to ever win a major. I don't know. I just feel like golfers play till like they can't walk anymore. So it's surprising that nobody over the age of 50 has ever won a major.
Oh, they keep playing. They just don't win anything.
Yeah, it's still surprising.
They keep showing up to the course. That's true. I mean, they're still out there.
Good for him though. It's been his first major in like 2013, since 2013.
Yeah, I feel like. Do you remember when we went to that trip to Los Angeles? You and I, we were in Hollywood, and that was when Tiger hit the shot that where it freezes right on the Nike logo.
Yep.
At that point, Mickelson was the best golfer to never win a major, and now I think he's got like 5 or 6, right?
Something like that, which would be a lot if Tiger didn't exist.
That's crazy.
Do you think Tiger's ever going to win another major?
No, I don't. I mean,
think so?
I'm not even sure he'll walk again.
Well, he's recovering well from what he's been posting.
Oh man, I hope so. But like, I don't know how you come back from something like that.
I just want him to
brutal.
win one more so he can break whoever's record that he's tied with. I don't know.
That is brutal. So tell me, you did some traveling. I want to hear about the fabulous Sin City and what it's like in the era of a pandemic.
Don't go there.
What? Why? Is it bad?
It's like going into a dystopian world where the pandemic never existed. Actually, it's basically like the rest of the world is going to be like once stuff starts opening up. Like if you take a bunch of drunk, alcoholic gamblers and you like lock them up in a room for a year and then they're just, fiending, and then you open the doors and you say, go, that's what it was like. you would never know there's a pandemic, right? So we got there on a Friday, and the hotel we stayed in didn't have a casino, which was nice. We enjoyed that,
Mhm.
but it was the day after the majority of the casinos went back to 100% occupancy. Um, there's no mask restrictions.
Really?
I mean, if there is, there's nobody enforcing them. And
Hmm.
all you have to do is just walk around with a drink in your hand, which it's Vegas, so that's everybody.
Everybody. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, fortunately, we're vaccinated, so there was a little bit less of a concern for our own safety. We wear masks all the time. The minute we step out of our room, it's on, and it's on until we go back in our room. So we didn't feel as anxious or nervous doing our things, but yeah, it was a good time. We try to stay outdoors as much as possible. Um, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was just nice to get away, I guess. There was a little bit of normalcy that came with just the whole feeling of leaving town and going somewhere else, staying in a hotel, which, again, not as concerned about it now, but um, yeah, it was good. It was good. We had some really nice food and got to break in the camera a little bit and kind
Yeah.
of test it out a bit.
So what's your review? So you bought a new camera. I want to hear what you think of it.
I like it. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by and this isn't going to come as a shock to any Canon user, Canon owner. The color profile is fantastic. Out of camera, just like the depth of color is great. Like I found myself not having to do really a whole lot of edits. Maybe bring out the highlights or play with the shadows a little bit, but it's not like I have to change the colors to make them feel right.
Right.
They're there. I predominantly used my zoom lens.
Okay.
Um, especially when I was out, out in the town taking photos. I took my Nifty 50 with me, but didn't really use it a whole lot. I mean, it's good. I'm glad I bought it. It's a good camera. I know I'm not going to buy another lens for a while because I just can't afford them. So
Me
there's
either,
that.
brother. Me either.
It's like basically buying a Leica camera every time you want to buy a lens.
It is. The glass is expensive, but it's definitely worth it. I love the images you shot. I thought it looked really great. I love how it renders skin tones. I mean,
yeah.
And then I guess the thing I was hoping you'd love about it, and I'm interested now that you've kind of experienced a Fuji and a Leica and a Sony and a Nikon. What else did you buy?
Never had a Sony.
Is how it feels ergonomically.
Yeah.
It's the most camera feeling camera, right?
Yeah, so it is. And I don't know if I like that or not. So in a weird way, right? So I think like the Leica was the prettiest. I mean, it's a Leica.
Oh, it's an object of art.
Right.
It's not ergonomic. It's artistic.
Right. And it looked the best. I will agree that the Canon is the most camera feeling camera. The Fuji probably looked the coolest because of all the knobs and that just retro look that the Fuji cameras bring.
Sure, I agree with you.
But I think as a photographer, the Canon is probably the best to hold and use. I'm still getting adjusted to like, and it's probably because of using other cameras, like where the joystick is on the back and the shortcut buttons and the dials and stuff, and just kind of how to position my thumb and my index finger. So I'm still kind of getting adjusted to that a little bit.
Do you have it set to use the screen as a joystick?
Yeah. But I use the viewfinder a lot. And so when I'm using the viewfinder, I'm using the joystick to shift my autofocus.
You can use the screen as a joystick during the viewfinder. Okay. So
yeah, I know what you mean. And I have that set, but
where the top corner is the joystick?
Yeah, but when I'm using the viewfinder, my screen's folded in and I usually just keep it closed.
Oh, why is your screen just folded out always?
No, I don't like it just protruding from the camera. It's weird. I'm not used to using it that way. It's weird. So maybe
does it protrude? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about flipping it out.
No, flip it and then close it so it's part of the camera, just as a screen on the outside.
Yeah, but if I'm going to put my finger on the screen, I might as well just put it on the joystick. It's in the same.
Yeah, see, I totally disagree. The screen is much faster and it's a way better experience.
Maybe I got to try it. I don't know. We'll see.
But if I ever see you again, I'll show you around the camera.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're both facts.
Yeah, I know. We're professionals.
We're not Republicans.
What is that? How is that related?
Well, there's you don't TikTok, but there's all these TikToks about people who like record themselves and like, CDC says if you're fully vaxxed and you're out in public, you don't have to wear a mask. but I don't want people thinking I'm a Republican, so they put their mask back on and they just keep walking.
I don't tick, but that's funny.
Yeah. Do you talk?
Is that the verb? Is that the verb form?
I think it's just TikTok. I don't TikTok.
My daughter wants me to
don't
get her
think they
TikTok, and I
shorten
don't
it
know if
to
I'm
tick
okay with
or
it.
talk.
Is it safe to give my kid?
I love TikTok. Actually,
But you're a
Jill is
child.
obsessed with TikTok, which is ironic. She's obsessed with TikTok.
I'm on the other side of this coin. I have no social media on my home screen. I'm out.
I have I
don't even have
nothing on my home
Instagram
screen.
anymore.
I have
I'm
4
done.
apps in my dock. And
No. But you still go to them. Like I don't go to Instagram.
No, I use Twitter probably the most.
Yeah, that's the one I go to, but that's because I get news there.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. Yeah, I don't want to tick or talk.
Stop shortening it. Don't do that.
Is it like when your parents call it the Facebook?
The Facebook
is the same. The Facebook.
Yeah. You know, if we were at all more popular and your daughter's friends actually ever listened to our podcast, your daughter would be incredibly embarrassed by the fact that you just said I don't tick or talk.
Yeah. Well, the good news is on an episode like today where we have no actual topic, no one listens to this. So it's totally fine.
You know, our last episode was pretty well listened to. By comparison's sake.
Go ahead. I'd like some numbers. Go ahead. Like data me.
20 or 25 downloads.
Why do I do this every Tuesday? I do this.
We don't. We do it every Sunday or Monday.
We don't do it on Sunday. I spend an hour of my life for 25 downloads. Oh, Christ.
Can we go back to what your commitment was at the beginning of the year? I think you committed to really making this podcast take off. And I still have to literally, even though it's in your calendar, literally send you the link to Zoom every time we do this, even though it's in your calendar.
That's 100% true. If you don't send it to me, I
barely got you to just subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I started watching an episode of it the other day.
I think we should cancel our YouTube channels.
Why?
Well, because literally nobody watches our YouTube videos.
Like, has anyone ever watched one?
Like I think our most viewed video has like 4 views.
Maybe it's waiting to take off. If they hear your Toy Story, murder theme.
Marquez, made 100 videos before he got popular. We're only like 10. So
yeah, we're just days away. Well, I think the goal is we probably should have some semblance of what we're going to talk about, and then maybe it'll work out better.
I actually think this flow is better than before.
Yeah.
Shout out to Goose for the suggestion, because so we would come into our shows every other week or every week and try to pre-plan what we're going to talk about and try to do some research, and it was like very structured. And even coming into the season, remember we said we're going to do like a PTI kind of thing, right? 8 minutes, 2-minute warning. We've ditched all of that. In the past few episodes have just been kind of what we initially talked about doing when we first started this, right? Take our phone calls and make it into a podcast. So there's definitely a lot of randomness and nonsense and jargon, jibber jabber, ticks and talks.
Ticks and talks. I like this better. I know that sometimes it means that you have to edit the crud out of it to get something usable, but I do have one topic that I would love to talk about that I think you are qualified to educate me on. Are you good?
Dude, let's go.
Okay. We are getting in an RV. We're driving for like 10 days.
Yeah. When is that? A couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks away. I need a solution for coffee. So from grind all the way through execution, my plan is to purchase an Aeropress because they're like $25 and they make the best coffee cup on the planet.
Well, go ahead. I that's not a fully accurate statement, but you're good.
Go ahead. You
just can't mess up an Aeropress.
I went from grind to delivery. What do I need to buy? Keep it under like $100. I don't want to spend a lot here.
Yeah. So I've purchased a few manual grinders in my life. I would recommend buying the Hario Mini 2, maybe. I'll send you the link. It's a little bit. It's not big, but it's not small. I mean, you can throw it in a bag. It's easy. It's just a manual grinder. Works really well. It's about $50, $50 or $60.
Okay.
And then an Aeropress. Depending on, I have the Aeropress Go. I actually really like it. It's really good for camping and RVing because it all packs up into its own little cup. So you can brew right into the cup. Like it all just goes into a plastic cup with a lid. So you don't even
Okay.
need a separate cup. It's just nice. All you need is just hot water. But it's a little bit smaller than the regular Aeropress. So the regular Aeropress has numbers 1 through 4 in the chamber. The Go is one through 3. So, but I like the Go better. I actually sometimes in the mornings, like when I wake up super early, I'll just do a quick Aeropress.
Okay.
And that's it. And then just buy a bag of beans before you go, and fresh beans, and that's it. Grind. The only other thing you need is a source of water. Now, the beauty with Aeropress is that you could just make it really simple and just bring your water to a boil, take it off the boil, wait 30 seconds, and then pour it.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about the water temperature. Hotter is actually better for Aeropress. James Hoffman actually just did like a 5-part series on YouTube about Aeropress. And
He hates the Aeropress Go.
I know, but he went through and he did like, you know, all the different brew methods, what's the difference between the grinds and brew methods, what he thinks is the best. And really what it comes down to is do like a almost like a medium grind, pour it in, add the water, put the plunger on top, wait 2 minutes, give it a swirl, press. It's good. You don't even need to preheat the filter. He's like, it made no difference to me to pre-wet the filter or not.
Okay. So do you think,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know your answer, but do you think I need to buy the Hario, ceramic coffee mill, whatever? Or, I mean, I have a nice burr grinder. Can I just grind all my beans and then just take ground beans for 10 days? It's 10 days.
Nope. Ground
10
beans,
days?
once you grind your beans, are good for 15 minutes, and then they start to lose their flavor once they're ground.
Okay, but how bad? Like Folgers bad, or like, it'll be okay?
Why don't you just borrow my grinder and just take it? You don't have to buy.
Well, that's better. That's a good strategy.
You can take my Aeropress too if you want. I'm not
I
going
just
anywhere.
feel like if you buy a hand grinder, like you're going to use it one time.
Correct.
Well, that seems dumb.
Although you're the same person that about a month ago we were in Nordstrom's and like, ooh, this is a nice little $300 hand grinder. Look, it all packs up into itself.
I didn't buy it. I just
know, but you
looked
said
at
you
it.
want to.
What? I want lots of things that I don't do.
No, why don't you just borrow my Aeropress and my grinder? Just take them both.
Well, I think I'm going to buy an Aeropress because I've always wanted one and they're so dirt cheap.
Yeah, okay. But you can borrow my grinder. I bought the, since we're talking about coffee, I bought the Clara.
What is that?
It's Fellow's new French press.
All I know is everything Fellows makes is $1 million.
It's not $1 million. It was $100. So it is a lot for a French press because you can get a French press for like 20. But it is, I love it. I don't know how else to explain it. I absolutely love it. It is double vacuum insulated. And so one of the biggest things I love about it is like, because I'll do a full pot when I do a French press. So it's like a little bit over 2 cups, right? It's 800. I do 60 grams of coffee, 800 milliliters of water.
Okay.
And so like I'll brew it. I'll pour my first cup. 40 minutes later, 30 minutes later, I pour my second cup and it's equally as hot as my first cup was.
It's very pretty.
It's fantastic. And it matches the kettle and the ode because I have the ode and I have the kettle. So
of course.
I love it. The cleanup is fantastic. It comes with an agitation stick, AKA a little wooden spoon.
Is that when your wife gets agitated? What does that mean?
When you French press, you pour in, you should agitate your coffee. You should just give it a little quick stir.
I like it with the walnut.
The walnut's 130. I bought it all black because everything else I have is all black, but the walnut's pretty. But if you get the walnut, then just be ready that when you buy the stag, because I know you want the stag, you got to get that in the walnut too.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah. It's really nice. If you ever French press, it is fantastic. So now I have 2 French presses. I have a Bodum one, which is like the basic glass one. That now terrible, is predominantly, what's that?
It's terrible and it's hard to clean.
Yeah, exactly. But now I only use it to make cold brew.
Okay.
Because I do French press cold brews. And then my Clara I use for French press.
It's unreasonable.
It's delightful. It is unreasonable, but it's delightful. Think of it this way. For me, who does pour overs a lot, it saves me on having to pay for filters. So in about a year, it will maybe pay for itself.
No, it won't. That's not how that works.
Filters are expensive.
Your shopping math is something else.
Let me take a different approach. I'm
Okay.
saving the planet by not throwing away paper filters.
That's a lie as well.
Eh,
It's a
just
lie.
go with it.
Okay. You
Chemex
got
filters
it.
don't biodegrade.
What does that mean?
Chemex filters aren't regular paper. They're not biodegradable. Like they take a.
Oh yeah, you mean they're awful for the earth? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Correct.
Yeah, they're
So by
absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So by using a French press, I'm saving the earth.
I agree with that. I understand that
Good.
part of the equation. Everything else you said was a lie, but that part of the equation was true.
It wasn't a lie. It was just a stretch of the truth.
Right.
An exaggeration, if you will.
Well. I guess I would have to learn to like coffee as much as you to do this.
You do. You love coffee.
I like espresso.
Yeah.
They're not the same.
Kind of the same.
They're different.
Just add water.